Not campaigning, a couple of my kids have come to Camp Lucon, and I was asking Aaron how far away it is because my wife has been the one that's brought them in the past. But that's been our connection, is coming up here to Camp Lucon in the past. I feel a little bit like my minister at church. He sees the sort of the tough crowd in the back, and he's thinking, I'm going to have to pass the plate and look at all these people who will not sit in the front of the church. But anyway, we're used to the tough crowd, and we'll see how we can do. My wife made me promise when I went out on the campaign trail, she made me promise not to sing. So you don't have to hear me sing, but I will occasionally recite lyrics. And there was a band back in the 70s named Rush, and there's this lyric I've always liked that sticks in my head, and it's glittering prizes and endless compromises shatter the illusion of integrity. And I think running for political office is a little bit like that. The glittering prizes are people all wanting to run for public office, but the endless compromises, the endless selling of their souls really shatter this illusion that there is integrity even left in the process. I'm one of those who truly believes that the system is broken. That even if I am the best candidate for the office, that it's probably not enough. That the system is so utterly broken that we need to fix the system as a whole. That means electing some good people, but it merely means addressing what's gone wrong with our system. The deficit this year will be $1.75 trillion. In fact, they had a vote, or they're going to have a vote, to increase the debt ceiling by $2 trillion. So even when they tell you, oh, the deficit's only $1.4 trillion, they're not counting the $100 billion that's off budget for the war, or maybe $200 billion off budget for the war. They're also not counting the couple $100 billion they're borrowing from Social Security or from the Medicare Trust Fund. See, all that money's being spent immediately. You think your Social Security money goes into a fund and is sitting there waiting for you? No, it's spent as soon as it comes in. And see, that worked for a while because we used to have 30 workers for every retiree. And then about 15 years ago, we had 7 workers for every retiree. But guess what? There's 1 worker for 1 retiree now, and we're out of money. The system is utterly broken. So when they say, oh, they're going to give you free health care, or we're going to have a new health care plan, well, guess what? Even if we don't add that, the system's already broken before that. Medicare is targeted to go bankrupt within the next 7 years without the new health care plan. So adding that on only speeds up the process. Before we had the Medicare prescription drug plan added, free drugs for senior citizens, before that was added, it was already targeted to go to bankrupt. So we've added in free drugs, Medicare prescription drugs for senior citizens. Now we're talking about adding in the 46 million who don't have insurance. Well, they tell us, well, it's going to cost $874 billion. But they think we're stupid because in the next sentence they say, oh, but it's not going to add anything to the deficit because government's going to get $874 billion out of the system by controlling waste. Well, I scratch my head and I say, when's the last time you ever saw a government come in under budget? When's the last time you ever saw a government program that culled waste from it? When they added the Medicare prescription drug plan, they said, oh, it's going to cost $400 billion. Within a year, it was costing $1 trillion. They always underestimate. They always miscalculate. They don't have the same signals that you and I have. If you in this room own a small business, you have a signal. It's called your profit margin. If you don't meet your profit margin, you let people go. If you've let everybody go and you don't meet your profit margin, you cut your own pay. But you have a signal that tells you whether you're efficient in your business. If you work for someone else, they've got that signal. But government at every level has no signals. There is no profit motive in government, and that's why you get inefficiencies in government. The farther it goes to Washington, the more inefficient it becomes. When people say, but we need to help these people, we need to give health care to everyone, I say, think about it. Think about the guy who was the head of FEMA trying to distribute water after Katrina at the Superdome. You remember the chaos of the Superdome? You remember how ineffectual government was? Also remember that after Hurricane Katrina, that there were prisoners in Baton Rouge who filed for dislocation funds from Katrina. And they got it. They were in prison the whole time, but they got dislocation funds from FEMA. You remember they were going to bring trailers in. FEMA was going to bring in trailers. They had 3,000 trailers. They're still sitting in Arkansas. They never got the trailers to New Orleans. You know one reason why they never use the trailers in New Orleans? There's a city ordinance that says no trailers in the parish of New Orleans. No one could figure out how to change it. You know, you had all those people who were stranded. There were, I think, 2,000 school buses. And if they would have had any brains, they would have put their school buses up on the freeways. Everybody would have had to ride out of town and been gone in an hour. But the school buses were all underwater because no one had the foresight. You know, if I owned those buses and I was going to lose my own personal collection of 200 buses or 2,000 buses, I guarantee they'd have been on high ground. But government doesn't have the same signals. They don't get the same signals, and that's why they're inefficient. We are, I think, at a tipping point in our country. I don't take this journey into politics lightly. I'm a physician, I have 3 kids, I'm very happy living where I do. I could go on living there for the rest of my life and not do this. The reason I get involved is I'm truly worried about our country. I'm worried that we may reach a tipping point where the management, the payment on the deficit is such that we can't even pay it anymore. It's 13% of our gross national product, and interest rates are very low. What happens if interest rates go to 15%? We're paying $30 billion a month in interest on the national debt right now. The way we pay for our debt is we either tax you, and most of us think we're already taxed too much. Nobody's too excited, Republican or Democrat, about more taxes, or we borrow it. But we borrowed $800 billion from the Chinese, $700 billion from the Japanese. The list goes on and on. We actually won the Cold War, but we owe the Russians $120 billion. We even owe Mexico $22 billion. What's going on? It used to be we were a great country. We exported manufactured goods to the world. Now our #1 export is our debt. But foreigners are getting tired of buying our debt. There is a worriedness, not only within our country, but there's a worry around the world that our dollar may not retain its value. And so you're seeing countries like China and India slow down their purchase of our debt. You're seeing them buy gold. Gold went up to $1,200 an ounce. The other day, the International Monetary Fund, which is a central bank, sold 200 tons of gold. Usually when they sell that much, they can depress the price of gold for a day or two. When they did, the price of gold went up the same day, and it was immediately snatched up by India. There is a concern in foreign countries that we've gone too far. We've been living beyond our means. My dad always used to say, or still does say, those who live beyond their means will eventually live beneath their means. It happens to you as an individual if you don't pay your bills, but it can happen to a country. We've been doing this for a generation. Now, some Republicans like to stand up and just say, oh, it's just Obama. Just Obama and those damn Democrats. But you know what? It's been going on longer than